So the difference, some would argue, is that today the BJP has Hindutva as a very powerful political force in its hands, which you are seeing across the board in state after state, of course apart from the national level. What is your, and this can be a very long conversation, but in brief, what is the way in which opposition, how do you fight that? Because we are seeing opposition parties write different things. Kejriwal has his own way of playing a certain kind of, pro-Hindu card. The Congress also flirts with temple tourism and so on. What do you think is a way of taking on?
First of all, we have to understand and realize that BJP's popularity or their strength is not only function of Hindutva. Yes, yes, it's one of the most important elements.
There are many elements.
The two big elements which we need to factor in is one in this hyper-nationalism thing. This Rashtravad ka jo agenda hai. It's as important, if not more, increasingly as Hindutva. And then you have the welfareism.
Yes.
As they, I believe Arun Shourie said, it's BJP Congress plus cow.
Yes.
So the household and individual level welfareism, nationalism and Hinduism put together, it's quite a formidable narrative.
Yes.
Unless you have ability through your own narrative to better two of it, you stand a very little chance against BJP. And I tell you why BJP underperforms in Vidhan Sabha elections, the assembly elections. Data tells us that they do.
Of course.
And people simplify it by saying that it's because of Modi factor.
Yes.
But it's one of the reason is this nationalism element doesn't work in assembly
in an assembly election.
And you have sub-regionalism as an element to counter that. That Bengal should be run by somebody from Bengal, a local leader, or Bihar should be run by a Bihari. That kind of thing. When it comes to the national election, this nationalism allows them to overcome all those limitations, the regional and sub-regional limitations, and override whatever limitations they might have.
Okay, so we have to have another conversation about how exactly our opposition party is supposed to tackle each of those, because that's going to be a longer conversation. But I want to ask you a different question as to why is Prashant Kishor interested in putting up this strong opposition to the BJP, given that, as you yourself said, that you have worked with all parties, including the very same BJP, the very same Mr. Modi in 2014. Why are you now part of some project to defeat the BJP? What has changed for you?
I'm not part of a project.
Or whatever you want to. You think it's an important thing.
I told you and many other people. Okay. My life is not driven by this idea of defeating a person or a party.
Okay, but why do you think it's important? Yes,
I do think that this in our country we need. First of all, we need a strong opposition, and Congress as an institution, as an idea and a space that it represents, must not be allowed to get weakened. It needs to be strengthened. It is in the interest of the democracy, the interest of the country. And
when you say that idea, what do you mean? The idea of
whatever Congress is supposed to represent.
What, like a broad,
one side of it's not about inclusive and exclusive. I'm saying one side of the political ideology is BJP. Another side of that is Congress. Broadly speaking, whether it's Trinamool, whether it's YSRCP, whether it's NCP or Congress, they are all subscribing to literally the same set of ideas with some.
Okay, so you're saying you feel involved in this because you feel it's important for democracy to have this this kind of two
elements.
There should be a balance.
Both should be, and I personally feel more aligned to the latter than the BJP side.